All Leeds TV, so these are my championship predictions for this season. To start with the bottom three, I'm going for QPR, Bolton and Rotherham. I think all three sides haven't really brought any significant quality in over the last couple of months. Obviously QPR faced a transfer embargo, Bolton have had a disrupted pre-season, and Rotherham really struggled last time they were at this level. They won't struggle as bad as last time, but I still can't see anything other than a season of struggle. Just above them, I'm going for Ipswich, Blackburn and Reading. I think all three sides have a little bit more individual quality. You know, you look at Ipswich, you've got Martin Wycorn, Blackburn with Bradley Dack and Reading with Liam Moore. I think that individual quality will just about see those three sides stay up this time around. Just above them, I'm going to go for Bristol City, Wigan and Hull. I think they'll all be inconsistent this time around. You look at Bristol City, they've lost Bobby Reid and Aidan Flint. Two big losses those. Wigan, you know, it's the first time that, well, they've just got promoted last time around. They've got a bit more quality than last time they were at this level. But I can't see anything other than sort of a mid-table season of consolidation. Hull, I think, will be very similar to last time around. And then progressing further up the table, I'm going to go for Brentford, Birmingham, Millwall to finish off the bottom half of the table. Millwall were excellent in the second half of last season, but I think to an extent they might get found out this time around. I think the main long ball tactic and defensive solidarity might get a little bit found out this time around. They haven't really made any significant signings, so I think they'll slide down the table slightly. Birmingham, another team with a transfer embargo like QPR. You know, Gary Monk improved him when he came in towards the end of last season, but I don't think he's been able to bring in, obviously with the embargo, he's not been able to bring in the required quality to seriously push them on. They will improve, but not enough to really push on towards the top six. Brentford, obviously, are always sort of there and thereabouts around the playoffs, but I don't think they've really recruited that well this summer. I don't think there's any real signings there that I see is really improving them. I think they'll do well to keep hold of Ryan Woods as well. I can't see them keeping hold of Ryan Woods personally. There's a lot of championship teams sort of looking at Ryan Woods. We're included in them. I'm not convinced we're going to get him. Possibly Swansea, possibly Middlesbrough as well. I think I've seen links to them too. So it's quite an interesting one, that. But I think Brentford will be similar to what they have been in previous seasons. But if anything, they might slide down the table rather than moving upwards. So into the top half of the table, I think the two Sheffield clubs and Norwich will have similar seasons to last time out. Norwich have made some interesting signings. Wednesday will have a full season of Forestieri. Sheffield United have had to do it swapping and changing in terms of recruitment as well, bringing in people like Dean Henderson, who I think is a good keeper. But I don't think any of those three sides have really done anything too significant to really push on this time around. In terms of playoff contenders, I'm going to go for Middlesbrough, Forest and Swansea. I think starting with Swansea, I think they're an interesting one really. You know, they brought in Graham Potter and it really could go either way, that kind of appointment. But I think losing Alfie Mawson, being on the verge of losing Jordan Ayew, they obviously let go of Kyle Bartley as well, which I don't think was a wise move, because I think at championship level you're not going to get much better than Kyle Bartley. So I think they've lost a lot of players from the spine. They're almost starting from scratch to an extent. And I don't think there's anything there that really jumps out at me with Swansea, and I think they'll push for the playoffs, but ultimately I think they'll fall just short. Forest are a team that have been very hyped over the last couple of months, and I don't really buy into the hype that much. I think Figueiredo and Graben, in terms of permanent signings, are obviously top signings. But I think other than that, I think a lot of the other signings are gambles, personally. You could go either way with a lot of them. And I don't think the starting 11, never mind the squad, I think the starting 11 still has weaknesses, and I can't see them sustaining a playoff push. They will be there and thereabouts, but ultimately I don't think they've quite got the quality to push on this time around. Middlesbrough were incredibly reliant, I felt, last season on Adama Traore. If they do lose Adama Traore, I don't see how they can finish in the top six, personally. I think they lack creativity. They're good at the back, obviously. They've got some really good defenders, and they've got some good individuals, but I think as a team, under Tony Pulis, I don't think they've got that creativity to really score the goals required for a promotion push. Obviously, British Belonga is a top striker, but if you don't give him service, he won't score goals. So on to the top 6. I'm going for in 6th place, I'm going for Leeds. I did a poll before I started the video, and 70% of you felt Leeds were going to finish in the top 6 this season. There is that feel-good factor around the club at the minute, and that can only be a positive thing. You know, whenever there is a feel-good factor around Leeds, we're normally a success. So that's one thing. Bielsa is another thing. That's the main thing, really, Bielsa. But then you look at the recruitment. Blackman's an upgrade on Vital for me. Douglas is a massive upgrade on our left-back options last season, and he's the best left-back in the league for me last season, as he proved for Wolves. Then you look at Lewis Baker. Hopefully it's going to be a significant addition in the middle of the park, and probably an upgrade on the vast majority of our midfield options last season. Jack Harrison, you'd hope, will be more consistent than Alioski. Bamford as well, probably the main upgrade. You'd have to hope he's an upgrade on our strikers from last season. So with those 5 signs of Bielsa, straight away you're thinking we can progress. In pre-season we're showing signs of really forming an identity under Bielsa. It's not going to be it's not going to be an overnight success. If anything, I think we're going to start the season slowly, but I think over time, the fitness levels of the side, the way Bielsa wants us to play, the off-the-ball work, the intensity, I think it's going to win us a lot of games. You know, the teams that try and sit back against us are going to really struggle because the speed we're going to try to move the ball about with, the different dimensions to the attack. You've got Luke Ayling on one side swinging balls into the box. You've got Barry Douglas swinging balls into the box. You know, Barry Douglas' set pieces as well are going to give us a lot of a big goal threat as well. He's going to, you know, we didn't have that last season. We didn't really have creativity at all, to be honest with you. So that's a big plus. Hoping Click is going to be a massive improvement on midfield as well this season. Obviously he was here last season technically, but never really got a chance, and I seriously think he can pull the strings this time around. All round, I just feel the squad has upgraded. We've still got weaknesses, of course we have. Centre of the defence, we lack a leader. Pontus is incredibly talented, but he's not a leader. And I just feel you need that leadership to seriously push for the top 2. Ultimately, I think that might cost us. Another thing that might cost us is when we have 2 games a week or 3 games a week. You know, with Bielsa's intensity, it might come back to haunt us in those situations. But ultimately, over the season, I think we've got enough for the top 6. And hopefully, we might even add players in before deadline day as well. Just above us, and possibly the dark horses of the season, I'm going for Preston. We've got 2 top championship players in Ben Pearce and Sean Maguire. Done very well to keep hold of both players. Then you've got Alex Neil as well, who I think is a top manager at this level. Very experienced, and all round as a team they play well. Both times they played against us last season, I thought they totally outplayed us and were very impressive to watch. They were consistent last season. I think they had bad luck with injuries last time around as well, and I think if they avoid that, I can't see them not finishing in the top 6, to be honest. I seriously think they will be the dark horses this season. Villa, I think, will have a very similar season to last time around. Obviously, they've had a disruptive pre-season with the ownership, etc, etc. But I think they've still got that quality in the team. James Chester, Conor Hurahan, Albert Adoma, Jonathan Codger, that's a really good spine. Obviously, they've lost Snodgrass after he was crucial last season for him on his loan spell, but they've still got some class there. You know, I think they will be there or thereabouts. Maybe not quite, they don't quite gel well enough as a team, I don't think, to finish in the top 2. And then just about missing out on the top 2, I'm going to go for Derby. Frank Lampard's an interesting appointment, and I think it's a good appointment as well. In pre-season, they've picked up some really impressive results. They thrashed Southampton the other week. They beat Wolves with a full-strength Wolves as well. Obviously, you can't go judge everything on pre-season, but I think all round they've established an identity very early on. They've made some good recruitment as well. Mason Mount's a good signing. Plus, they've kept hold of the players that were key last season. Curtis Davis, Tom Huddleston, experienced championship players. All round, I think that's going to combine them into a strong team. You know, and maybe not quite strong enough for the top 2. I think ultimately they do lack the 20-goal-a-season striker. Jack Marriot's a good signing, but I'm not quite sure he's going to get 20 goals for him. He will get goals, but not to an extent, I think, of what the other top 2 teams I think have in terms of goal threat. So then, progressing on to the top 2. In 2nd place, and just about pipping Derby, I'm going to go for Stoke. I think the Gary Rowett appointment's very shrewd. They've brought in some really good players, experienced Championship players in Benicophobe, Tom Ince. James McLean's a fairly clever signing as well. Atibo, I think, was one of the stars of the World Cup for Nigeria. And you have to look at who they've kept as well. Joe Allen, Ryan Shawcross, Jack Butland, I think will all be outstanding players at this level. All round, I think just the quality will shine through, I think, for Stoke. West Brom, for me, are going to win the league this season. I think if they gave Darren Moore the job earlier on last season, they would have stayed up. The form towards the end of last season was outstanding. They've kept hold of some important players. Jay Rodriguez, Rondon, Chris Brunt, Matt Phillips as well is an important player. All creative players, all goal-scoring players, and that's important that they've kept them. They brought in two shrewd signings, Sam Johnson and Kyle Bartley, and I think as a team, I just can't see them not going up. You know, you've got so much goal threat there. I think all round they've got the confidence of the way they finished last season. So those are my Championship predictions. Make sure you give us a comment on where you think Leeds are going to finish this season, who you think is going to be in the top two, and just your general predictions for this season. Thanks very much for watching All Leeds TV.